Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be making some more cards today with the Make Special Cards issue 14 kit, and I'm just using some backing papers, and I'm using up some border strips as well. And I had that snowman stamp that I stamped out like years ago, and it's been kicking around my stash, so I wanted to use it. And I'm using this pretty trim. I think I got that in Michael's in America, sorry. But I'm sure you can find some sparkly rickrack over here somewhere. And I'm going to tie a little bow and stick that down with some glue and a glue dot. And I'm going to mount my stamped image on this foil card. I just wanted a pop of silver to tie in the silver that's on the snowman. And I'm going to pop it up with foam. And then to tie in the silver, again I'm going to use a peel-off sticker. And I also add some gems to the borders in the scallops. And I painstakingly put them on. I've had quite a lot of these fall off, which is why I've been using wet glue recently. And then to do the top, I turn it around just to make it a little bit easier. I've also put a blue glitter snowflake on there, just because I felt like that top left hand corner needed a little bit of something, because it was a bit plain. And that's the first card finished. Okay, moving on. Using some washi tape, and I'm going to make a panel. I was actually planning to pop that up, but I get distracted and completely forget about it. But you could pop it up if you wanted to. Oh, I'm fighting with my tape pens again. Okay, so I make a faux belly band around card, and I just trim off the edge. And I have a little hunt to see if there's anything that I want to use left from the toppers in the kit. And I have a little play around. I was thinking about using that topper because it's got the brown in it, and it's also the same brown that's in the pine cones that I've die cut, but I don't end up going with this. But I thought I'd leave it in because you might prefer it and it could be an option for you. I found some gold wrapping paper in my stash, and I thought it'd be really cool to die cut shapes out of. So I'm just putting some double-sided tape on the back of it, and I'm going to mount it on card because it's really thin. And then I go over to my die cutting machine and I cut out a bunch of snowflakes, a branch from another magazine, the branch from this kit. I think that's it. I also cut some out of silver so that I could have a play and see what I preferred. I wasn't sure. I knew I wanted to have silver in it because I used the silver glitter washi tape, but I wasn't sure if I was going to mix the silver and the gold or whether I just preferred to have the silver. But the pine cones that I had pre-made had gold behind them, which is why I was testing out the gold here. see if I like it. And spoiler alert, I decided not to mix the gold and silver, and I just go with the silver. But you can see me playing here, coming up with different options, different layouts. So if you like the mix look, you can go for it. Then I have this little scrap, and it gives me the idea to mount the With Love sentiment onto the silver card. So I go for that, and I'm using wet glue because glitter cardstock's really difficult to get things to stick to. And because I've used crystal glaze on the middle where it says With Love, it's warped a little bit where it dried. So yeah, the wet glue is definitely the way to go for that. So I just trimmed out the flag shape to mimic the topper, and I'm picking some snowflakes, and I'm going to pop the sentiment up with some foam. And I'm going to stick that down. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room while it dries. And I colour a couple of the gems with the Rock Pool Pro Marker and stick them in the middle of that snowflake. And then I remember I've got some baby blue ones which are very similar colour, so I go for those instead. Oh no, going back to the rock pool. And those I got from the range quite a while ago, but they're very sparkly. Now I'm going through my stash to see if there is anything else I want to use. And I find some of these blue gems and I cut them apart. And I'm using the little green pearls as well. And some tiny brown metal looking dots. So I'm using this background paper with pine cones again. And I just really simply mount this topper on foam. And in the final picture you'll see I go back and add some of those brown enamel dots, but I lost the footage of that unfortunately. Oh, I'm playing around to see if I want anything else, but I'm thinking about it and I decide to go with the gems and the brown enamel dots. So I'm on a kick with this pinecone paper. Having a bit of trouble lining it up there. Don't know why I didn't use my 2-square ruler. And I pick up some of those gold bits that I die cut a couple of cards ago because I want to try and use them. Because that gold is wrapping paper, it's kind of got a plasticky texture, so there's little bits that didn't cut very well, so I just went in with a craft knife to help it out. And I go with this Let It Snow sentiment topper, which I pop up on foam and stick in the middle. And now I'm going to use some glue and nestle behind the topper and the pine cones, some branches and some snowflakes. I cut apart one of those long branches and separate it into two. And then I go off to die cut another one because I want more of those long, thin, wispy pine cones. And I think I got another few snowflakes as well. And I'm just cutting it up into 2 pieces so I get more for my money. You could cut 2 and just use the top half, but I like the variation, so I trimmed it in the middle and used the bottom and the top. And then I go in and add those brown enamel dots sprinkled around into the centres of the snowflake, just for a bit of contrast. Now I'm using the same paper again, and I'm going to use a Spellbinders die to cut out some scrap paper. I think that's actually the back of a Gorgeous Girl stamp packet, but I like it, so I use it. And I just mount that up, and I think that's the Spellbinders Labels 22, the nesting ones, and I think it was the second largest in the pack. So I'm just mounting that into the centre of my card on foam. Add the Happy Christmas sentiment. I add the Christmas tree topper. I use the roller dot tape that it came off later, so I suggest if you're going to use a like chipboard sticker thing that doesn't have stickery stuff on it, I suggest you use wet glue because it didn't stay. I'm using Antique Rose Nouveau drops to decorate the bauble on the tree and to make some of my own enamel pearl dots for the background. I go in with frosted lace on the white, and now I decide it's a bit too empty around the edges, so I decide to visually kind of draw your eye in with a border of gems, and it takes forever, but I really like it and it was worth it. It just adds a little bit of something, because this was quite a plain card. And sorry you're seeing my head a lot here. It was really fiddly to do, especially those little corners there that I'm just playing with. It's really hard to get them to sit right. And I keep the strips together for the most part, and where I go around the curve I snip where I want it to curve, but not all the way through, just so it's kind of semi-attached. It gives me a bit of flex, but I don't have to sit and individually put each gem. I only have to do that on the corners. And it takes a little while, but I think it just looks like you've put a frame on it, and it's something a bit different. And because it's that rose gold colour, it's quite antique-y. And I think those rose gold gems come from the range. I'm probably going to need to buy some more soon because I've been using them quite a lot. They actually look quite orange on that brown background, but that might just be the light. They don't in real life. Oh, I'm just sprinkling a few gems around in the background just to tie it all together. And that's the card finished. Next, I'm going to use the tree branches and this snowman topper that I've had in my stash for literally years. I just seem to collect things. I seem to like pick things up in big bulk packs and hoard them forever, or I get them in magazines, or I'll cut them out of other Christmas cards that people give me. I've been known to do that. So I just found this and I decided I'm going to put some snowflakes around it, and there's a mixture of foil mirror card and that glitter cardstock mounted together. You'll see it in the close-up, it's really pretty. And I add some gems and pearls in different sizes and some little clear stars at the end. I just want to make it sparkly, really. And I add a clear star to the topper as well, just to give it a bit of dimension and to tie that topper into what I'm doing around it. And I go for a peel-off sticker that says Happy Christmas, and that's my card finished. Now I'm using the same Labels 22 die set from Spellbinders and a makeup brush from Poundland to sponge on some tumbled glass Distress Oxide, and I leave the die on while I do that so that I get the white border around the edge, which just frames it and separates it from the background paper. I spritz it with my Distress sprayer and lift up the water with paper towel. You probably could leave that out, to be honest, because you don't really see it very much when I stick the reindeer sticker on top. And that reindeer came from Home Bargains. And I'm just having a look to see if I fancy any of these ribbons, and I go for that nice ruffly one. So I mount the background paper, which is the pretty blue with the blue and pink trees. I pop up the topper that I'm creating on foam. And I put this tiny little scrap as a panel. I'm going to do an L shape with a focal point. I put down some tape. That's the finger lift tape that I got from Every Crafts a Pound. Still getting used to it. And then I decide that I'm going to add another layer of ribbon, and I add the blue in the middle. And the reason I did that is because the pink in the middle is a different pink to the edging, and it didn't go as well, so I thought I would distract the eye with the baby blue. But I still wanted to use that ribbon, the pink one, for the texture. So that's my thought process. So I'm pulling up the double-sided tape and I'm tying a little bow. I think it'd be really funny to go back and watch all my videos and count how many bows I've tied in this series. I think pretty much every other card I've put a bow on. I'm looking for a little peel-off sticker, and I decide to add it to the ribbon, just for a different placement really. I thought if I put it anywhere else it would probably get lost. And I go for one foil star and one of these white gems in the middle. And then I decide to do white gems on the corners, and I just do a 2 and a 3, and that's the last card finish. So thank you very much for watching my video. I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you see the next video in the series and the other videos that I've got coming up soon. Thank you for watching. Bye!